Hello and welcome to a Hogwarts Legacy many spoilers review. So this is going to be all spoilers. You get a graph on. It's a dragon thing. Look, I'm on a dragon. Look.
Jaunt, I'd say.
I mean, it's a walking dragon, doesn't fly. See, look, spoilers. Look at that. That's a spoiler. Okay. There's lots and lots of gear, lots of loot and stuff like that, but again, spoiling. Each of the character quest lines, I think, have value, and they do have character development, and you as a character to sort of develop. I think the one thing I'll say, it's an 8 out of 10 game, preface that. Highly recommend it, yes of course. Especially if you love Harry Potter. Boom. Easy. Tick, tick, tick. Sebastian. Okay, Sebastian is a big issue. Let's put you away. Okay, so Sebastian is a Slytherin, and his whole quest line is the one that I feel is the most... it has tremendous weight to it. At the same time, the conclusion is where I feel as though maybe, you know, things that there's a bit of variance in it. Your decision making is about, you know, how you get along with him and the decisions that he makes. Sebastian wants to help his sister Anne, but she's suffering from dark magic curse. So he goes on this abstract journey and you join him, or you do not join him. It's up to you whether or not you can really change his journey in his actual...
Lumos.
Whether you can stop him going evil. I'm not 100% sure you can. So I feel like you cannot go evil along with him. So I went with him. I went the loyalty route so I could learn the killing. So I could learn Crucio and Imperio and Avada Kedavra so that I could use them. But the price you pay for learning the killing curse and the other unforgivable curses, I think it's quite heavy. So what happens in the... I'm going to spoil it. So, you know, if you should know, if you played through, if you know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what I'm talking about, he basically turns evil and then justifies it with he's trying to use this evil magic to help his sister, and we end up he kills his uncle with the killing curse. Now, the unforgivable curses don't work unless you mean it, which is kind of the wraparound about insanity here, is that he says, oh, I didn't mean it, and, you know, Anne goes crazy and she leaves and she buries her uncle, and Ominous is like, oh my goodness, and where do we turn? We turn Sebastian into the ministry, and, you know, does he go to Azkaban? And I'm just like, oh no, I'll stick with my buddy. He's all cool. He had to do it. And it's the constant reaffirming that Sebastian's evil was okay as a dialogue option, which was the part that really affected me, because I was, you know, supporting him, even though he just killed someone. Even though we kill people all the time that are poachers and all that stuff, and there's kind of a contradictory element to the entire game in that regard, this actually was a named character that meant something. Solomon is the man who died, the uncle. Uncle Solomon, he'd just given up hope that Anne could be freed of the curse and wanted to sort of accept that as move on from there. And Sebastian just couldn't. And then Sebastian just gets his head wrapped around in this vortex of evil, and it made me feel really bad. I just felt really bad afterwards. It really emotionally affected me. So I just want to, you know, have it out there that it can have an effect on you. If you are sensitive to dark concepts in a game that is mostly positive fantasy, and maybe the main quests have a bit of darkness, and the poaching is quite, you know, That's not good, but you don't see any animals, any magical beasts being killed or anything, so... Except for the dark mongrels you kill in the forest. It's really... It's one of the most powerful parts of the game. Now, learning the secrets about other characters and, you know, that they've all got their own special secrets and you share your secrets with them, I think that's fantastic. It's just Sebastian, I feel like a disconnect between who he was at the start and who he is at the end. Again, he develops in a way of just insanity, and you can see that there's an insanity to it. That he can even justify killing his uncle. That he can rationalize it, and then you help him rationalize the murder of his uncle. It's just like, okay. It's like, again, this thing happen. This can happen, but it's weird, and sort of at odds with the feeling of the fantasy and the joy that this world brings. Is that there is a darkness to it. So again, I mean, is it good to have... You need to have the darkness, I suppose, to have the light to be so enjoyable. But could they have... I don't know. I mean, the way I played, I felt like I was punished for seeking the evil curses, and that is totally reasonable. From a structured story point of view, yeah. If you're going to go that path, you got to bear the weight of it. But it's a heavy burden to bear. And I didn't think it would be. I thought it's just a game, you do what you do, you whatever. But I just felt it. I felt the impact on me. It's... But that's the best thing about choice, is that I did choose multiple times to continue to support Sebastian. And paid the penalty for it. As you learn more spells, you get more combat variation, but the original couple spells, the Accio, Levios, they're really, really, really powerful. So again, you can just keep using the same spells. But I'm using this variation because I just want to curse everything, and then I can do Avada Kedavra and kill them all, which is just incredibly powerful. And you can one-shot bosses.
There you are.
Except for the final boss. Okay, so let's talk about... What's the next thing? Let's talk about the final boss. Okay. I think the final boss is actually not very good. It is, again, another one of those, you shoot the coloured orbs, and it has an effect, and then... But it doesn't feel like... I feel like some of the combat is kind of like Dark Souls linear. You dodge, you do your spells, you dodge, but it's so... The animations are so obvious, though, that it doesn't... Sometimes it's just the repetition of the animation, and you wanted to hit them. Your greediness punishes you, but it could be a little more varied. God, so loud. Enough of that, enough of that. Too loud. Stand on the train tracks, keep by a train. Whee! But I just didn't like it. I felt like playing through on hard difficulty, they'd been quite a challenge. The trolls had been challenging until I learned, the unforgivable curses and was able to one-shot them with Avada Kedavra. And we're using Imperio to have them attack the other dudes. That was all, again, I invested in those spells, got rewarded from that. But I felt like, should you have been able to use Avada Kedavra on the final boss? Maybe. Again, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. You can't. So he's immune. So you can't just one-shot the final boss, which is a good thing. Really, it's a good thing. You don't want to make it too easy. Where are you going? But I don't know, I felt like it could have been a much more challenging encounter. What are they called? Your effect on the world. Okay, I think let's go to the next thing. You do have lasting impact when you have conversations with students. You withheld the mission the fetch quest reward that they were looking for. You don't give it to them. They do say mean things to you, and they do hold it against you for a while. So that does have an impact in that, you know, you walk past them and they say something mean about you, which, you know, that's reasonable, but there's no real great impact negatively, really. So you don't get punished for your behavior around the grounds. I mean, I cast the killing curse multiple times in front of other students and there was no mention of it. So maybe they could have been a bit more there. But again, they don't want to punish you for your gameplay decisions, which I think is reasonable. The wanton killing of poachers and dark wizards and goblins, you kill a lot of them. Goodness me. It's a bit strange, honestly, but you know, it's a game. I would have loved if we had the one of the spells that the police officer learns in Hogsmeade. One of the ones she has is where you wrap the enemy up in ropes. Intasio, I think it is, Incasio, and you can, you know, arrest them, basically. I would have loved there was a non-violent solution. So you could learn a spell where you just, when they're on low health, you hit them with the ropes, and then they're, you know, you wrap them all up and they get arrested. And you can, I think that would have been better if there was a choice between the lethal option and the non-violent option. And you had this in like Watch Dogs too. And Watch Dogs. So you could play you could do the nice thing and not just kill everyone. So in this, we just kill everyone. I feel like that's wrong. Yeah, fundamentally that's wrong. We shouldn't be killing everyone. So again, that's kind of one of the things that they could change. Maybe, probably not. I would love it if they did, but I sense that that is not going to happen. We didn't arrive on the boats with everyone else, which is sad. We didn't get to ride on the train, which is sad. But all stuff we can do in a year 6, if there was a year 6. We should hope with the foundation that they built that they would do that. But yeah, so Hogwarts Legacy is a, at times, bright, happy experience with just the breathtaking magic of the wizarding world at your fingertips, and at other times dark, foreboding, mysterious, and a tad overwhelming at times with the impact of your decision, really, to learn evil spells can have on you and on the people around you. I think if you remove the Sebastian quest line from the game, it's a very different game, but then the main quest, you do have a sort of darkness there. But it's just such a powerful quest line, the Sebastian one. I feel like it sort of overawes the other ones. So Natty's quest line is great. The resolution, I think, is really good. Poppy's is really, really good with the centaurs and things, and the magic there, I think, is quite nice. But I would have liked if we had the Snidget in our bestiary thing. Come on, let us have the Snidget. I like the Room of Requirement and all the things it has on offer. I kind of wish there was a spellcraft shop that sold like all the anonymous stuff, so that if you can't find it, you can at least buy it. Because it is just, the loot is all random throughout the whole world, so you know, not everyone's got the same stuff or the same mask or the same hats. And so that makes it interesting, but at the end of the game, you don't get any loot for killing the final boss. So that's kind of where I feel like it doesn't quite conform to the status as a loot game if you don't get loot for beating the final boss. You know, it's like, it's a bit odd in that regard. Whether they could expand the loot system, maybe. Music and atmosphere, tremendous, absolutely tremendous. Something that other open world games should really think about, trying to create an atmosphere. rather than being so bland, which is really just a fault of, you know, the premise. I think the premise is really important. And so Hogwarts sort of has its own, the school has its own premise that's quite strong. And so everything around that sort of falls into line in that regard. So if you never read the books or watched the movies, you'd be, I think, a bit confused at times. Perhaps the next game would have, you know, year 6, you'd have the Ministry of Magic. You'd have St. Mungo's. Perhaps even, you know, you choose your own background. You go back to your home and see your family. That'd be quite interesting to see what they could do with that. Because I feel, yeah. All right. 8 out of 10 though. Frosty by 10. Yeah. Like and subscribe. Buy the game, I reckon. Wait till it's cheap if you know, if you want to. That's totally up to you. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, yeah, that'll do. All right, I'll catch you around. I'm gonna maybe talk some more. There's more. There's so much you could talk about, really. But I think it's an amazing game, made by a lot of very dedicated people, and it's tremendous. So yeah, all right, I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.